Hi, I'm Tom and this is Adult Game Reviews. This week I go through my top 10 games I played this year. This is not an all-time best list, so just like last year, here's my disclaimer. I didn't play every game this year, so games like B.E.S.T aren't on the list because the last update was December 2023. So if you heard me talk about a game that I really liked in the past and it's not on this list, it's probably because I didn't even play it last year. So how I rank games, usually in my top 10 list, are if the games actually made me feel something.
I like having emotions, okay? This is who I am.
I mean, for me, without a little bit of emotion, I get kind of bored. I will be doing a community highlighted top 10 from one of my backers on Patreon or Subscribestar each week. If this is really popular, I'll keep this going through 2025. Also, I'll be announcing the winners of the Steam gift card giveaway on December 26th, so watch out for that video to see if you're a winner. Okay, let's jump into my top 10 games that I played this year, starting at number 10. The DeLuca Family by Hopes Gaming. The DeLuca Family just made it into my top 10 from this past year, mainly because of Luna's storyline. The Mafia storyline was interesting and a bit goofy at times, but when you see Luna's story, it really kicked me in the head emotionally. I just thought Luna was crazy, but when you see what she had to go through, you understand why. Luna's backstory was so emotionally affecting that it's the thing that I remember most from the DeLuca Family. I do hope we are able to get more content sooner rather than later. Number 9 is Nightly Passions by Feata. Nightly Passions is a true point-and-click adventure game. I absolutely love the girls' storylines, especially the elf girl, but the whole cast is really interesting. I mean, the ending of the Red Nun storyline still stands out to me, just simply for how badass it was. I was pumped after that ending. I love the animations, and while there are problems just like in the DeLuca Family, it belongs in my top 10. It was just a fun game with a great story, and just do what I did though and cheat through the combat. It makes it feel less grindy. Number 8 is Companion of Darkness by Berkili 4. Companion of Darkness kind of came out of nowhere for me. The renders can kind of look dated, but there are animations and the whole world is fantastic. The lore and the characters are fantastic. You truly feel powerful and at the same time kind of out of your depth. There were some things that happened that genuinely upset me.
I never stopped looking.
I knew you wouldn't.
I'm really excited to see what happens next. Number 7 is Changeling Tale by Helmet Fox. Changeling Tale is just a beautiful game. It looks gorgeous and the story is very touching. I mean, the whole story is about change and growth. I avoided much of the spicy content because it's not for me personally, but so many of the girls' stories were kind of bittersweet. It's safe to say that I felt a lot of different things when playing through all 3 girls' paths. Every time I think about Changeling Tale, it makes me want to go back to the Scottish Highlands and...
Maybe I will, one day.
Number 6 is Trouble at Home by Cool Kitty Rhymes. So being completely honest, it felt like everyone was just dunking on the main character in the first chapter. None of it's really his fault, but so many bad things happen to him. By chapter 2, he starts to gain a backbone, which makes him a lot more likable. However, the draw for me was chapter 3. You're confronted with a lot of heavy topics. Slice of life VNs are so hard to make interesting. The good ones are basically soap operas and the bad ones are just boring. It has to have enough conflict without it feeling unrealistic. And I think Trouble at Home does this well. I still think about chapter 3 when I'm looking at the most affecting games on this list. The only reason it's not higher is that it's only on chapter 3. I'm really looking forward to seeing how things turn out because even if I never touch it again, it will stick with me. Now, before I get into the top 5, I want to give a shout out to one of my longtime backers, and that's Rasser. Rasser does his weekly recommendations on the AGR Discord and is a wealth of knowledge. I for sure wanted to see what his top 10 games he played this year are. Starting at 10, it's B.E.S.T by Dolila. Emily and I have been streaming our playthrough of B.E.S.T where she reads the female parts and I read the MC or male parts. It's been a lot of fun. You can check out more of my streams on picardo.tv. I will make a formal announcement about that in January. Okay, let's get back to Rasser's list. Number 9 is Cybernetic Seduction by 1000. Number 8, The Neverwhere Tales by Seolag. Number 7, Artemis by DigiB. Number 6, Price of Power by Pandaman. Number 5, Project Passion by Classy Lemon. Number 4, Between Two Worlds by Drusk. Number 3, Fog of War by Story Machine Studios. Number 2, Morning Star, Book of the Fallen by Droid Productions. And number 1, A Foreign World by Highborn Tiger. Thank you to Rasser for your top 10. Now on to my top 5. Number 5 for me is Chasing Sunsets by Stone Fox Studios. While I've criticized Chasing Sunsets for having absolutely garbage medical jargon,
that doesn't mean what you think it means.
It still has one of the most satisfying relationships in any VN I've played. Mallory and Jay are fantastic love interests, and watching them grow is very rewarding. I'm not going to say any more because it's hopefully going to be fully completed by the summer of 2025, so I will be sure to do a full review then. Moving on to number 4, and that's MBML by Nichan. MBML is kind of an anomaly. On one hand, the writing is really rough early on. Even Nichan confirmed that many people aren't able to make it through all of the prologues simply because of the writing. However, the writing does improve in chapter 1, and the emotional scenes are the best written part of the game. Emma and even Moon's storyline were so good.
That was really good. That was good.
Anyone who can push through the game to experience MN Moon storylines won't be disappointed. They were all so well done, and unless you're a robot, it's hard to not feel something there. Number 3 is Eternum by Charybdis. Eternum is forever on this list. The last chapter warranted a fresh playthrough for me, and even if I wasn't the biggest fan about how Chapter 7 ended compared to Chapter 6, it still leaps and bounds above almost any other VN. That's all I'm gonna say because I already have a ton of videos talking about Eternum. Moving on to number 2, and that's Subverse. Subverse just hit version 1.0, which is a fantastic milestone. No, it's not complete, but it feels like we're getting closer to the finish line. Subverse is just such a well-made game, and it's also an actual game with top-down shoot-'em-up space combat, turn-based combat, full voice acting, cutscenes, animations, and much more. The only thing that keeps it out of the top spot for me this year is there are times that the dialogue is so cringy, it's hard to connect with. However, when that's the only thing wrong with it, it deserves to be on this list. Before I get to my number 1 game of the year, please like and subscribe. It's been an awesome 2024, and I'm really hoping for an even better 2025. I'm offering a weekly Steam release video. I'm going to be streaming more over on Picardo TV, and a few more things I've planned in 2025. My honorable mention is The Neverwhere Tales by Seolag. It just fell out of the top 10 for me, but another one that if you can make past the initial goofiness with the writing, it's a great story with an emotional ending. There is only 5 chapters released, but the last chapter kind of made it all worth it. Thanks for the support, and let's get back to the number 1 game I played this year, and that's Ripples by Jester. I love Ripples. I played Ripples way back in January of 2024. From the girls to the plot and the Back to the Future vibes, there were so many times that I would just burst out laughing, especially with Darcy. I'm really hoping the VN completes one day because the development is slow. But overall, I loved my experience, and it's becoming one of my favorites of all time. I hope that stays that way. So what were the best games you played this year? Let me know in the comments. I want to thank all of my backers on Patreon and Subscribestar. Without you guys, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing. Thank you to Rasser for his top 10, and if you haven't seen my theme video for November on the best girls who make us wait, you can check that out right here. Thanks again. Until next time.